empathy. I'm growing as a human being. I know I'm on the right path as the empathy level in me keeps growing. And I know I'm on the right track. I'm a good American. I don't have any equivocation in that statement. Okay. I am 100% American. Okay. Born and raised. And I love this country. And it's a country of devout socialists, if they're good socialists, that don't prescribe to theft, because I don't believe in the Robin Hood theory and redistribution. I do not. I do not. I'm a capitalist. I'm a supply and demand capitalist. I'm a realist. I'm a guy that says we need to demand progress so we don't accept this tyranny through currency debasement that's being foisted upon us with special interest groups colluding and fixing markets and prices and manipulating them. I know what's causing the currency debasement, the cost of living inflation, and you need to too. We all need to face it. Okay. No, I'm not talking about a good socialist is one that considers themselves an egalitarian, a good liberal, classic liberal that's just a nice human being. It says just be logical and prescribe to progress and all this. Progressives, right? So that's the kind of liberal I'm talking about. That's the kind of socialist I'm talking about here. And I also am on 100% behind a conservative, fiscal conservative that says let's lower the taxes, and the cost of living is a tax. Okay, if the effect of a high cost of living and high taxes is identical, why would we differentiate between the two? Let's call a spade a spade. Let's call the cost of living a tax. Okay, so understand that the things that I teach are really simple, and you've got to admit it. Even a child can understand it, and we've got no excuse. We've got no excuse to continue on this course and not, frankly, just get it. And what our demands need to be. We need to regulate it. Okay, we the people need to be the overseers. We the people need to be the checks and balances, and speak truth to power. I mean, sooner or later. That's why. But I don't have a lot of confidence in humanity. I mean, I'm doing what I can, but I get stressed out, man. I could never be into politics. I cannot contend with people I think are being deceitful and duplicitous and liars. I can't do it when they know the things I'm saying are true, but they'll still manipulate your costs upward because it's benefiting them and their ilk, their special interest group. They say, I got a lot of people behind me. I got clout. I'm not going to listen to a clown like you. Okay, I'm gonna do what I want to do. It's for money. I mean, I'm logical. I'm the one with common sense here. I get how they think. You know, you and your ethics. Who are you? You sanctimonious, pious piece of crap is what they might think about a guy like me. What are you trying to do here? But yeah, I'd save everybody a lot of money, and I can do the math. I promise you. And so a minimum guaranteed income, you can poo-poo it all you want, but I know the truth, and it's the truth that set me free, and it'll set you free too. Yeah, I believe in freedom. I'm a good American. I'm a big believer in freedom. Freedom for universal freedom for all. And that's the shining light example we set for the rest. And that's the biggest threat to these evil people. That's why Satan is the apple. I mean, America has been the apple of Satan's eye for a long time. It's the prize. And you know what? And he has been after us. And the Federal Reserve being established in 1913. Okay? I mean, this is so evil. This is so diabolical, what's been going on in this country. We have been attacked in a full-blown attack by Satan in America. And because we are good people, this country was established with some good, strong, noble, ethical, moral people. Okay, and yes, I know there was a messed up crap with the Indians slaughtering and the whites slaughtering the Indians, and you know, it just was, you know, the devil's in the details, and there's no exception for the American history. I know, but overall, I mean, to come away with the Constitution, whereby only the literal Word of God can supersede the Constitution, which is the ultimate law of the land. Okay. That tells us we have a right to pursue happiness, and knowing that freedom is number one at the top of that list. We need to attain freedom. And is that to be reserved for a certain segment of society, special interest group, certain class of people? No. As Americans, we understood equality. That's why it's written into the Constitution that all men are born with equal rights, okay, equal entitled by their creator to these rights. They're not given by man. They're not granted. We have a right primarily to exist. And if to exist, I need to be able to start a fire, and the government's going to regulate me and say, no, you can't start a fire to keep warm so you don't die tonight. And the shelters are full. So, you know, because we haven't built any new ones to accommodate the ever-increasing problem we're creating, allowing to be created. My heart hurts just talking about this stuff, but, you know, it's something I got to do. I got to get it off my chest, and, yeah, maybe I am a bleeding heart. I don't care, man. I don't care. If that's a good thing, and if it's a good thing to God, that's what determines whether it's a good thing. And I say I'll do the math. I'm a fiscal conservative. But, you know, we've got to be logical and reasonable, okay? We got to face, you know, the truth. We got to admit what progress is and what progress is not. And we've got to respect each other. We've got to get along with each other. We've got to try to win people over to our thinking. When you know the truth, then you've got the truth to offer. You've got to be empowered from God. Say, God, give me the right spirit to convey these things so that I can be effective. Because ultimately, after all, isn't that what you're after? If you're serious about getting things done, you know, doing business here and really progressing, then we've got to teach people in a way that's palatable, that they can accept, whereby you'll be effective and they'll adopt it. They'll say, you know what? Now that made sense to me because you spoke the way they needed, not condescending, but not talking over their head, making sure that you were reaching them where they were, where they needed to be reached. Say, look, I understand the socialist philosophy. Or if you're a socialist, you could say, look, I understand the capitalist philosophy. But, you know, we got to talk about crony capitalism and talk about how that's the exact opposite of true capitalism. Okay, because it produces the opposite results. That's why it's the opposite. So we need to talk about these things. And a socialist needs to be held accountable for their beliefs. Do you believe in theft? You believe in stealing from the haves? You get to have, not what, Robin Hood and all this? That's lawlessness. We can't have that. There's a reason why we have law and order in the land. And if you want to legitimize that theft, okay, then, you know, you're talking to the wrong guy. And it never worked before. Look at history. And it's not working anywhere today. So, you know, it's failed. So we've got to all jump on the capitalist bandwagon and just demand justice. We need fairness is what I'm talking about. Okay, and that means that we can't have any privileged class out there. We can't have too big to jail, too big to fail. See, that's the problem, is that, well, now the government now is like the establishment. All the good people working in the government, they're all sucked into that too. I mean, I couldn't imagine being a good, decent, upright person working in the city, county, state, or federal government. And just, it'd be so hard. I mean, I have such a hard time contending with this mess, but we have to face it. We're in it deep. We've stepped in it deep, okay? And it stinks to high heaven. And it's going to be painful. It's going to seem painful to a lot of people. When things do start turning around, it's going to be traumatic. And I don't want it to be traumatic for people because I'm attached to other people osmotically. This is how, you know, we're like John Rappaport. He thinks, you know, this idea that we're collectivism and it's all just one mushy, gushy bunch of people. And, you know, there's no exceptionalism, or I forget the term that he was using. But, you know, there was no individuality and achievement or accomplishment. He was going into this kind of stuff. And I can understand that thinking too, but no, we are together. We're human beings. We're connected osmotically in a very cosmic, divine manner. Okay, you cannot, no human being has ever not cared about his fellow human being, okay, and been satisfied, been happy. You can't. You have an instinct, a default. You have a conscience. And when you're not caring about your fellow human being, you feel it. And we all know that human beings are not being cared for all the time. And we know it's by design. We know that they're being deliberately murdered through desperate, extreme poverty, homelessness, dying out on the streets, and all the other social ills that are caused by desperate poverty, the high crime rate, prostitution, drugs, homicides, abortion. Okay, and you're against minimum guaranteed income that could stop all those things, dubious war, national debt. All these problems would go away. Do you understand? The social welfare industry. And I'm the bad guy. I'm some kind of nut, some idealist, pipe dreamer. Okay, I don't get that at all. And I hope that anybody listening to me really, kind of absorbs it, kind of embraces the ideas I'm putting out there. Because to me, I'm trying to let God use me as a conduit, a vessel to